Hey, good morning. Mike Wright here. I'm with TaxRight. We're the sponsors of the Red Shoe Business Club, and I want to welcome you here today. Yesterday's program, while it had some valuable stuff, it was kind of all over the place, and I apologize for that. But sometimes when we're talking with stuff that almost seems kind of woo-woo, it doesn't lend itself to good one, two, three kinds of information. I hope you took the opportunity to look at the TED Talk from Simon Sinek. That's one of the most pivotal programs that you can look at. You'll remember a few days ago I mentioned The Strangest Secret with Earl Nightingale. One of the points I want you to take away from is that the internet is full of all kinds of really good stuff that's just out there for the taking. Costs nothing, and sometimes it's difficult to find simply because there's so much of it. But those two things I just mentioned, The Strangest Secret with Earl Nightingale and Simon Sinek's item talking about your why, it's very good stuff, and I hope you took advantage of it. Look, we're in October now. It's the fourth quarter, and so it's time to start wrapping up the year. For most people, wrapping up the year includes doing the planning, not only for the fourth quarter, but also for the year to come. If you've ever been a worker in corporate America, you know that October is the month in which corporate budgets are put together. It's not a bad habit to get into, even for a small business like yours and mine, for the simple reason that we all tend to put off doing the things that we know we should do, like planning, until we absolutely have to. So having a month dedicated to planning, not only for the current year, but for the year to come, is not a bad idea. So let's get started doing that. And so I thought the best way to do that, to get started with the Red Shoe Business Club, is to talk about how do you do your planning for the fourth quarter and the year to come. Well, you can't do any planning without doing a review, without understanding what you have done in the past. So today I'm going to talk about a few items that you should get together before you start your planning for the fourth quarter. These are the items that you want to consider when you're putting together your review. And the first one is your financials year to date. We will talk about quarterly reviews many times. It's an important feature. Two things to remember. Obviously, you're going to do daily, weekly, monthly reviews, but the quarterly review is the one that you really want to pay attention to. And as I was talking with somebody yesterday, the reason for that is a quarter is a long enough period of time that you can actually observe trends. You can't see a trend in a day. You can't even see a trend in a week. You might see the trend for that week, but who knows how that fits into the whole picture. You don't want to wait, on the other hand, for a whole year to do your review and your trend identifying. While that longer period does provide you with more data points, it also means that you're farther behind in trying to correct situations that your review is revealing. The reason for a review is not just to say, oh, good, I've done a review. The reason for your review is to see what's happened. And what you want to look at are the things that worked and the things that didn't work. That's what you do in the review, is you look for the things that work and the things that didn't work. The next step is the analysis and the implementation. And the analysis and implementation are the place where you make plans to do more of the things that work, and you make plans to stop doing the things that don't work. But you have to make that determination somehow, and we start with a review. And your financials year to date are always something that you want to look at. You might consider, maybe you should go over this with your accountant, but you might consider whether you want to use a calendar year to date or whether you want to use a rolling year to date. In other words, do you want to compare the 4 quarters prior to the beginning of October 2023, or do you just want to compare the 3 quarters in the calendar year 2023? Not a lot of differences, but it might be important to you, particularly if you're in the kind of business which has seasonal ups and downs. So if you're trying to plan for a longer period, your ability to identify stuff that's gone on during a peak season might be important. Let's look at my business, for example. My peak season is and always will be the first quarter because it's all tied to that magic April 15th tax date. So if I'm looking at just the 3 quarters so far this year, I'm going to have a really good first quarter. And then depending upon how many people do extensions and so forth, I may have a mediocre second quarter and an even worse third quarter. So what does that tell me? Is my business in decline? No, my business isn't in decline because that's the season that I use. If I were to go back to the fourth quarter of 2022 and bring it into the year to date, then would that make an impact? It might, because I might be doing some promotional work in the middle of the year and therefore find out that I've got stuff going on that's important for that analysis. But the financials year to date are what you want to look at. Second thing you want to look at is your marketing results. Your leads and your conversion. Now, leads are important because leads are the people that you have been in contact with in order to sell. I could spend 2 or 3 hours talking about all of the different ways to look at leads, but leads are important. But if you're talking about making money, conversions are more important because the conversions are the people that actually pay you for what you do. And so one of the things that you're going to do in a review is to compare, of all the leads I get, how many convert. Remember what I said was part of the reason for the analysis is to determine what worked and what didn't. And so here's one of the places where you find out what worked and what didn't work in your business for the year. Because now you're going to be able to look at those things and focus in on doing more of the things that work and stopping doing the things that didn't work. So that's an important feature and something else that you want to prepare for. Let me just say this. If you're not keeping track of your leads, by which I mean the name of the person, the number of contacts, and what happened, if you're not keeping track of that, then you're losing a great deal of important information which can guide your thinking as you put your business together. Don't fall into the trap. We talked about this when we talked about marketing last year. Don't fall into the trap of not being able to identify which things bring you business. Don't just think because I have 3,000 likes on Facebook that I'm doing well. If you have 3,000 likes on Facebook, but you've only converted 2 of those people to clients, you're wasting your time. But if, on the other hand, you have leads that come from people that you know, like, and trust, and they directly refer people to you, and 90% of those referrals result in business, those are the places that you want to start focusing on. That's what you want to be doing in this review process. The third thing that you want to prepare is what programs or projects are in process. See, the writing always goes down. The farther down I get, the farther across I have to go. I apologize for that. The thing I want you to notice about that is this. Unless you've just been sitting around twiddling your thumbs and waiting for things to start up again at the beginning of October, you have stuff going on right now. Well, this is an opportunity for you to take a look at what's going on with those things. Are you having trouble accomplishing some of the things, the things you have in process right now? At this point, I'm not talking about looking at the things that you did earlier. That might be done. For example, during the tax season, I may have a process going on to move tax returns through my shop more quickly. Since my shop is just me at the present time, then those things are over. They're done with. There's not a lot I can do about them. But as the year goes on, I have different processes going on during the year. And so that's what I mean for you. You want to identify the processes that are going on presently and how are they working. Now, the reason we're saying this, and this is a bit more amorphous, although if you have projects going on, you should have timelines, or you should have diagrams, or you should, one of the programs I use calls them wikis. They're listings of steps that need to be done, and you should be able to identify where those steps are and what's going on with them. Because this is another opportunity, when we move to the analysis piece, this is another opportunity for you to decide what's working and what's not. And this then is what you have to go forward with to decide how to make the quarter work well and set the stage for a successful calendar year 2024. So these three things are what you need to get, at a minimum, are what you need to get ready to begin your review. So I want to take a minute and make an unqualified sales pitch here. I'm doing a program starting next Tuesday, a week from yesterday, at 8 a.m. And we're going to go through the fourth quarter planning process one step at a time. Those that attend will be able to, they'll receive a workbook. There'll be an opportunity for them to gather this information together. And we're going to spend an hour together talking about these three areas and some others that may come up when we talk. They're going to have a chance to feed back and forth with me at that time. And in general, this is going to be a preparatory meeting. Then a week later, on the 17th of October, also at 8 a.m., we'll do a follow-up. We'll see what the results were of what we did the week before. We'll find out how people did this and how it worked out for them. And we'll also set the stage so that they can go forward with their planning for the rest of the quarter. This program is intended to provide you and the others that attend a hands-on education in how to do this. We can talk about doing a review. We can talk about how important it is. But if we don't sit down and set out a plan for doing this, it's not going to be as effective as it could be. And this program is a start on that. So here's the deal. If you go to that's mcw.bz/Forley Rev. mcw.bz/Forley Rev. You'll get to a chance for you to sign up for this program. It's $35 for both sessions. You will also get a recorded copy of the sessions. And if you can't attend at 8 a.m. on Tuesday, the 10th of October, shame on you for not being up and at it for that time. But that recording will be available to you as a signed subscriber for this program, and you'll be able to use that program going forward. So if you want to pick up on this and have some hands-on help with getting this done, this is a golden opportunity to do that. That's https://mcw.bz/Forley, number 4, LYREV, all lowercase. And see you tomorrow when we're going to talk about one of those financial statements, and hopefully you'll sign up for the program for next week. So have a good day. Take care.